Okay, I'm in a different creek, and these two youngsters was here when I got here, and they just got to witness me finding this arrowhead here. This is arrowhead number 3 for the day.
Cool.
Can you guys see that?
That is cool.
This looks like a nice whole point here. Still got the needle tip on it and everything. Very nice.
That's awesome. I would have walked right over that.
So you guys ought to take up looking for arrowheads, you see. You see how easy it is, right?
Man, you just got to pay attention.
You just got to pay attention.
Because we were just right over here too.
Was ya?
Yeah, just walked right over it.
Rinse this off. Nice. Okay, just got in this creek. And I think these guys are going to start arrowhead hunting now. Okay, I've come down this Little one-man feeder creek here. See if I can find anything in this. My buddy Derek is still back at the first feeder creek, so. Oh, there's a pileated woodpecker right there. Wonder if I can get some footage of it. Wow. There's rock everywhere. And nature. Something about being out here alone by yourself is really relaxing. Just hope I don't run into a bear or something. Yeah, the wood knocking's freaking me out a little bit, I have to say. That means Bigfoot still going on strong. Didn't get to film any, didn't get to get any footage of the woodpecker, but I'm retreating right now. I'm here alone and I don't have nightmare. I'm not unarmed except for my knife and my spear. And wood knocking's making me nervous, so retreat. Still a good ways away from that feeder creek my buddy Derek's in. Everything seems to be okay though. Wood knocks have stopped and I don't see anything behind me, so. I think I'm good. Pretty shitty thing to do. I was looking forward to walking up that feeder creek for a while. But what do you do? I know I'm no match for a Bigfoot, so even armed with nightmare, still no match, so. Here I am. Let's go the opposite direction and I think everything will be all right. All right, been walking forever. Me and my buddy Derek, I'm gonna let you pick this one up, man. You see it?
I see it.
See if it's whole. Oh! Oh my goodness. Is that a snap base?
Yep.
Wow. That's 3 or 4 inches long. Let me get a picture of that. I forgot to get a flip it over, bro. Forgot to get a picture with it laying there. Crazy. All right. That's nice. That's a nice point.
Yeah. That thing blended in good too.
Blended in really good.
Looks like a little log. Nice.
All right. Well, it's just about dark and we're way back in here. And that's just about going to do it for today. So we'll see you next time. Somewhere up a creek. Just came across a large spot in the woods here. It looks like something's been coming up through here, tearing things up. Look at this. There are no tracks of any kind, any machine, any vehicle. Wow. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. Look at that. Look at this, Derek. Who the hell would do that? Look at all this broken up wood. This is just crazy. Wow, that's not a deer. Nope. I don't think that's a little bit too high for a deer. About 7 foot up off the ground. This is crazy. What's this? No tracks or anything there? Let's look around for tracks. I've never seen anything like this before. And we're on our way out. We're about halfway out of this creek. Just crazy. Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Glad you're here with us. I want to thank everybody for sending in all their email messages to me. They just keep coming, and one of these days I'm going to catch up with all of them. If I haven't read yours yet, please be patient. I like to vet all these reports if I can, and to make sure that, you know, no one's messing with me or lying or playing a joke or something like that. So we only want what's real here and what's true. And I have so many here, really, I don't know where to begin, so I'm just going to begin with this one lady who contacted me a few weeks ago. She had a real crazy experience down in Atlanta, Georgia, and it was actually the first actual vampire report that I've ever received in 40 years. So see if I can find it here. So I read the report, and it was kind of crazy. And I asked for her contact information, which she gave me, and I talked to her on the phone. And she was for real. She wasn't playing around or anything like that. So I actually got ready to do another video a few days ago, and since she since the report was so fresh that I thought I would do that first, but I got to my Gmail and it had strangely disappeared. All the communication between Cricket and myself was gone, so she had to redo it. She had to resend everything, so I'm going to read it to you right now. Excuse me. She calls it the creepers. And she goes on to say, it was 2008. I was visiting my friend Jessica in Georgia for a month. She asked me to go to a club in Atlanta with her. I was very reluctant to go as I was tired from the work week and kind of wanted to stay local. I especially didn't want to go after she informed me that it was a popular gay club and tonight was lesbian night. From seeing my unfiltered emotion that I always wear on my face, no matter how hard I try to overcome it, she went on. Oh, please, she begged. It's a real favor to me. She continued on, and I reluctantly agreed to go with her. All right, I caved, but not without a safety net. But if it gets weird, we're leaving. I pointed at the air in front of me as if accentuating the words so she knew I was serious. Yes, okay. She turned around to head back into the house, but turned around quickly to tell me what time we were headed down there. Meet me back here at 7 o'clock, she said. Okay, I half-heartedly called back on my way to my car. So come 7 p.m., I showed up ready to go. Jessica met me outside and we were taking her car. You're wearing that? She gaped at my attire, which was a t-shirt, blue jeans, and running shoes. I shrugged. Yeah, I responded, thinking, what's the problem? I'm doing you a favor. She just blinked and walked towards her car. Okay, let's go, she said. So we went down there to Atlanta and we pull into a development of concrete buildings. Are we lost? I asked. This place was dead. It was some business center. Jessica checks her GPS and confirms. No, this is it. Yeah, it's here. She turned right into a parking lot where another 14-story concrete building stood. A block was attached to the building's right. I assumed it was, or in this case, could be used as a restaurant, but this looked completely deserted. The tinted windows were dark and there were no signs indicating life here. No lights, no people around. The sun had just set and the twilight was drawing to a close. The parking lot opened up as we drove past the block. The blacktop was like a vast lake with shops like TJ Maxx and such surrounding the edges that curved around it clockwise like brush. There were a few cars in the enormous parking lot, and when Jess saw two people walk into the block, she got excited and parked near the other vehicles. Walking into the place, the door was held open for us by a man who watched us enter. Inside was strange. It was a long rectangular room. 8 or so plain pillars ran down the center in pairs. These were spread out so the room didn't have a claustrophobic feel. Along the right wall was an extremely long bar with stools. I'm sorry guys, I'm trying to get close to the camera, closer than I'd like. It's kind of windy out here, so I don't want anyone to have problems with the audio. Okay. It was a long rectangular room. 8 or so plain pillars ran down the center in pairs. These were spread out so the room didn't have a claustrophobic feel. Along the right wall was an extremely long bar with stools. My guess was correct. This was to be used as a restaurant to its joined building, but there were no tables, no chairs, and nothing to indicate that it was used for such. The floors were clean and there were no marks of chair slides that I could make out. Being in the restaurant business at the time, this place seemed odd to me. It was also very dark. The only lit areas were like spotlights over the dance floor and the hallway, which was a short distance to its left where the bathrooms were. Then beside that, you have the bar. The dance floor was a temporary one, a 20 by 20 foot foldable breakdown hardened mat that was faux wood with waist-high metal railing all around it, except for an opening that was closest to the front doors where two people could get in and out of if they turned sideways. The DJ booth was behind it against the wall along with large speakers. As we walked deeper and closer to the dance floor, I noticed a short hallway to the left before you arrive at the dance floor. It too was very dark. A man leaned on his right shoulder against the wall at the top of the 3 or 4 steps guarding the entryway to the darkened hallway. I noticed no light came from any of the rooms whenever a door was open. That's very strange. A few people, a few men, one woman that I could tell, went up and down these steps in and out of the hallway doors periodically and at random. Having worked in restaurants, I figured there were private events or parties going on in them, and wondered why there was no light coming from any of the rooms at the bottom of the doors. I didn't think any more of it and joined my friend for a drink and hit the dance floor. I remember that Jess got the first round and I got the second. On my way over there for our second round, I noticed again that the bar was dimly lit save by a hidden rope light or something similar in the service area under the counter for the bartender to see what she was doing. There were also dim lights above each row of an almost sparse liquor shelf behind the bar. The bar shelves were wooden. The bartender was tall, light-haired, and very handsome. He was stocking the bar rather quickly and looked a little pissed off, like he got stuck with the job or something. I'll cheer him up, I thought. No harm in flirting a little. When he finally stepped over after a long while, which wasn't a good sign, I smiled and said hi. He didn't reciprocate, so I continued with my order. He's busy, I get it, I guess. I ordered a Corona and watched him look high and low for one. He then told me, uninterested in striking up any conversation, that he needed to go down and get one. So I got to kind of be wary here in Harrison County today. For the last 2 or 3 days we've had a double murderer on the loose and no one knows where he's at. So you guys don't let anyone sneak up behind me. Let me move over a little so you can see. Okay. He seemed irritated and left the bar. I was kind of confused and wondered what the heck I did. He actually was kind of an ass. Part of a bartender's job is to be friendly. That was when I figured he got the short end of the stick to be bartender, and that I'm also at a gay bar, so he's probably gay. I wondered how much longer Jess wanted to be here for. I observed the bar. It was very long. 2 men were sitting down almost at the far end in casual conversation. I thought them to be too manly, bordering biker to be at a place like this. But you never know with people, I guess. Occasionally, once in a while, and not with purpose, one or the other would watch the dance floor. The third patron at the bar was also a man who sat solo about 3 or 4 seats away from where I was standing at the service area waiting for my drink. Where'd this guy go, I thought. It was going on 15 minutes. Where was that fridge? In the basement? I turned partially around, leaning on my outstretched hand on the edge of the bar, looking at the darkened corridor. A woman that looked to be in her mid-30s climbed the 5 steps to talk to the man guarding the hallway. She had dirty, from what I could tell, blonde curly hair past her shoulders and a medium petite build. The woman carried a tray, not a typical round black service tray, but a rectangular silver one with small items on it that I couldn't make out. No glasses, no plates, maybe silverware. She then went down the dark hallway. From what I could see from the light of the dance floor nearby, she opened the first door on the right and went in. There was no light illuminating from the opened room. Later on during my hangout at the bar, the door opened and she brought the tray to the far back left room. Again, no light. I didn't watch the strange hallway that hadn't any lights for their guests continually. The bouncer there was watching everyone, and staring would indicate curiosity or that I wanted to go up there in what clearly was an off-limits area. So I pretended to watch the dance floor for a while. The girl followed another girl up those stairs and into one of the rooms during that time that I had my back turned to the bar. Something about this place was off. It was really small gathering, not like other clubs. I turned back around to the bar. The man a few seats down nursed a mixed drink in a rocks glass with 2 black stir straws. He was an ugly dude. I never strike up conversations at bars save when ordering a drink, and anyways had no intention of starting with where the bartender went with this guy. Besides having to shout over the music, he was curiously ugly. His dark, scraggly hair was greasy, and he seemed uninterested in me, which was good. He drank his drink, and although our eyes never met, I caught a glimpse of them. They seemed to have no color, very dark brown to black, like wells of darkness. Something was strange about this man's skin also. It was very pale and sallow, like he stayed out in the sun, but almost like he stayed out of the sun, but almost clammy. Maybe it was the lighting. Just a second, guys. Just change it right here. There. Everything else about him seemed normal. He was tall, average height, and even though he was sitting, he was thin and wore dark clothing, a collared shirt, an outdoor jacket, which was odd, as it was not cold in here, dark blue jeans, and black dress boots. His features were sharp but uncomplimentary. I looked around at the sparsely equipped bar wall. There was something off about this club, especially at the darkened corner where I was standing at the service area, and I was curious. I faced the bar, looking straight ahead, pondering while tapping my foot, when the man to my right yawned. And as he stretched, I thought I saw out of my peripheral vision an enormous bubble bend and pop. That's very strange. It encased his head, and divergent to what my mind pieced together, the bubble was quite beautiful, and it made an almost inaudible and watery bloop. It moved like liquid, was clear and iridescent, mesmerizing. Within this bubble, I thought I saw a cramped collection of cylindrical, tapered teeth that grew in size and length out of the man's mouth, which also opened up larger than was physically possible as it caused the bubble to bend and burst. These teeth moved vertically, like someone steepling their fingertips together and twiddling them once to have their fingertips meet once more. They were smooth in motion and dexterity. Did I just see that? I looked at the man and he was still. Maybe I imagined that. I don't imagine or see things like this ever, by the way. I looked at him again and he was frozen, eyes wide. I trailed my gaze to the bottle so as not to appear to be staring. He was watching me now, avoiding my eye contact when I looked back at him. The man looked as if he had been one who had been caught in an act. There was a strange something, like a presence, over here where I was standing. I probed. This corner was weird. It was something more than just darkness. I said within myself, where was this strange feeling coming from? I looked down the long bar at the end towards the 2 men at the way at the end. No, nothing was from over there. It was definitely here, I thought. I looked over to my left and at the insanely brightly lit hall where the women's bathroom, first door on the left in that hall, was, then back at that man. He had swiveled around in his bar stool and was now facing outward, away from the bar with one foot on the ground. It was at this time that I affirmed he was keeping an eye on me and simultaneously trying to be indirect. As soon as I turned my head away to repeat my seeking question, the bartender had shown back up and the man had taken off from his seat and was gone. His rocks glass only had the remnants of some ice and the 2 little black straws at his vacant place at the table. Okay. Sorry, I lost my place here, looking around. Okay. Here we go. His rocks glass only had the remnants of some ice and the 2 little black straws at his vacant place at the bar. I looked around and didn't know where the strange man went. What was that I had just experienced? Did I experience something? This is going to sound strange, but when I replayed the entire incident much later in my head, I recalled that during the transaction with the bartender, I realized that the man had moved very fast into the off-limits stairway. He pointed me out to the woman and the bouncer. I made my way to the dance floor, unaware and at the same time ignoring them. The only thing I can explain how I know this is A, I either must have saw them, which is impossible because I had no idea where the man went while I was there, or B, I can replay an event in my head, rewind it, slow it down, you name it. It is something that I've learned about myself that I can do sometimes. So I made my way to the middle of the dance floor and was dancing, feeling ironically safe amongst the other girls, not knowing the danger I was in. I'm going to dance at least, I thought. It'll make the time fly by. Finally, I was enjoying the moment. I knew that the man was pointing me out to the other curious people that were privileged stair climbers, but now that spot was buzzing. People were up and down the stairs hurriedly, in and out of a dark room. Looking back, I don't know if it was because of the girl that was brought up there earlier or because of me. Because I was feeling nervous, excuse me, I pulled mentally away from the further surroundings and stayed there on the dance floor. I focused on my heartbeat and my breathing and the rhythm of the music. I was only dancing a minute or two when my rhythm was thrown off by a wave of panic that overcame me like a flood. It was so intense that I stopped dancing. It was an anxiety unlike anything that I've ever gone through. Then a thought entered my head, go to the bathroom. My heart raced horribly and I was short of breath. I held my sweating beard in my left hand, and that was a third full, and I looked at the soul-marked dance floor. I was breathing so heavily, and yet I felt like I was not getting sufficient oxygen in this stifling hot atmosphere. Everyone was dancing around me, oblivious. I saw my running shoes, dirty from running in the rain and mud. Why was I freaking out, I thought. I looked to the bathroom's hall, then down in front of me. I was aware of an intruding presence off to my left behind me at the stairs. Strange, I shut it out. No, I don't need to go to the bathroom. I'm fine. There's no reason I should feel this way. I'm just dancing. As soon as I mastered myself, I felt the rhythm of the music come back soothingly, and at the same time, the tight, smothering feeling dissipated. There we go, I thought, and then I felt invincible. Nothing could touch me, and my groove came back. The next song began, and the floor kept dancing, and I along with it. A voice entered my head again. You think you can dance? It sneered. The disembodied voice was female. Again, my rhythm was tripped up, but I was able to recover faster and without stopping completely like last time. I just lost my groove for a moment, I told myself. I don't care what anybody thinks about me. Then I responded back to the voice. I don't care what anybody thinks about me. Then I responded back to the voice. Yes, I can, and I'm good at it too. I continued dancing. It wasn't long, and the song ended, and another one started, and it was soon stopped, and then the lights came on. Party was over. Everyone broke up, and my friend seemed like she enjoyed herself. She told me she was going to go to the bathroom before we go. I nodded and said, okay, I'll wait right here. Hurry up. I didn't go to the bathroom, but stayed in the middle of the room where she had left me. I faced the dance floor and the brightly lit hallway, almost halfway down the length of the building, so I had a clear view of everything. It was only a few minutes, and she was back. Okay, let's go, she said, and followed it with a huff, trying to catch her breath. We gabbed on the way out, and stepped off of the sidewalk on the blacktop. The night was warm and humid, yet not smothering like it was inside that block. That was short, I commented, looking back at the building. The block still looked unoccupied from the outside. The place was strange, and I was glad to be done with it. Jess agreed it was short and was expressing disappointment. I glanced at my phone. It was only 12:15. Holy crap, it's only a little after midnight, I exclaimed. Jess gawked at that time. Are you kidding, she said, and looked at her phone. Oh my God, it is. Agreeing that the place was lame and we were never going back, we got in her Saturn and drove toward the road. As we drove past, I saw out of the corner of my eye a man shoving through the doors to stand at the curb, heaving as he stared into me while we drove past and away. I did not dare look back at him. Please don't use my name, just call me Cricket. Okay, Cricket, thanks for sending that in. That's a really strange one there. After speaking to Cricket, she's convinced that what she saw was, and where she was at, was some kind of vampire club. And the girl that they took upstairs never came back down. So, very strange. Many people don't believe that vampires exist, just like they don't believe dogmen exist, or Bigfoot, or other inhumanoids, but they do. And thank you, Cricket, for being brave enough to stand up and tell everybody the truth, crazy as it sounded, okay? And it doesn't matter who believes and who doesn't believe. All you can do is tell people what you saw and experienced. Let them make up their own minds. And you guys can take from that whatever you wish, or leave it. So, let's see what else we got here. Okay. Early this month, me and a group of people went back to the LBL, and I probably should save this for another LBL video, but I'm going to go ahead and read it to you guys. Just happened to one of the members of my party. He's known online as War Criminal 7. And he wrote this up, and I'm going to read it to you guys about what happened that night. On May 6th, myself, Elijah, and Gabby Henderson were traveling north on the Woodland Trace in the land between the lakes. I was driving, Elijah was in the passenger seat, and Gabby was in the back seat. The moon was almost full and had a beautiful orange hue to it. The wildlife was out in abundance. We had seen over 100 deer. We also had seen a friendly beaver in the road, and Elijah asked me to stop so he could video it. Elijah was able to get unusually close to the beaver, as the beaver seemed fine with Elijah's presence. We probably seen like 20 snakes. Most of them looked like copperheads in the road. We also saw an armadillo, raccoons, and skunks. The wildlife was everywhere around the roadway that night. Around 23:40ish, that would be 11:40, I noticed a dark colored figure in the center of the road. The creature was low to the ground in a low crouched position. My eyes immediately went to the head, where I seen 2 pointy ears and a short muzzle. I noticed it had black fur with some gray around the neck. The second thing that caught my eye was the right shoulder of the creature. The creature had a rounded shoulder muscle like a human deltoid. The shoulder looked pronounced from the creature's body. And I talked to Matt and Elijah and Gabby Henderson, and made sure that what they saw couldn't have been a feral hog or a boar or a coyote or something like that. They were all completely sure that what they had seen was not an ordinary animal. So, War Criminal continues. The most unusual thing about this encounter is the way the creature moved. The creature was moving. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's rewind that a minute. Saw the creature's shoulder, deltoid muscle. Okay. The third thing I noticed was the length of the creature's back. And as my eyes followed the back, I seen a humanish looking thigh. I did not see a tail. The creature ran into the eastern side of the park, into the wooded area. The creature did not turn its head to look back at us. The creature looked like if it was standing bipedal, it would stand 6 feet tall or so. The creature looked like it had an athletic build. I do not have any more details about the creature, as this event happened very quickly. The most unusual thing about this encounter is the way the creature moved. The creature was moving extremely fast. When the creature was moving, I didn't see a lot of bouncing up and down like a normal animal movement. Considering the speed at which this creature moved, the creature was in a very awkward low crawl. It looked very unnatural to any animal that I've ever seen, and I've seen plenty of bears. Bears with mange. Shout out to Martin Groves, and wild hogs. I've never seen anything like this in 40 years of hunting. I have a 22-inch light bar on my push bar and a 50-inch light bar on the roof rack. Is why we were able to see this creature so well. He's talking about mounted to the front of his truck. After some thought into the experience, the biggest thing that was perplexing was the creature's movement. I couldn't help but speculate in my thoughts about the movement of the creature. I wondered if the creature was floating or gliding across the road. That's bizarre. That's really the only way I could wrap my head around how this creature moved. There's no doubt in my mind, after hearing what fellow experiencer Gabby Henderson gave as her description of the creature combined with my description, we had seen an inhumanoid known as the beast of land between the lakes. I'd say you did. I say you did, Warren. There's definitely going to be another video or two about this last trip, because my wife also saw something down there with two other witnesses that were in. They were all traveling in the same car, and it wasn't a dog man or anything like that, but a winged creature. So we're going to definitely do another video about that. Now let's see what else we got here. This happened on March 20th, 2015 in Henderson, Kentucky, where I am now. This happened to a good friend of mine named Chuck. I've been friends for many, many years. He actually used to be a guitar player in my band. So, his sighting, March 20th, 2015, creepy. All I can say is it was creepy. This is one for the creepy books. Like we do every workday, Randy Bentley picked me up around 6:05 a.m. and we headed down Highway 41 south. It's always the same old usual morning chit chat on the way to work. What's up? How was last night? Family doing okay? Etc., etc. Then we got on the subject of an old house I lived in, and actually Randy had lived in before we did. We were discussing whether or not it was actually haunted, or was it something else going on, something more sinister and spiritual. I apologize for the noise, everyone. Not too far away from a blacktop road, so no telling what you're going to hear. We were discussing whether it was actually haunted or was it something more sinister and spiritual, okay? As we were discussing that and what the Bible says about things like that, we came up over where 416 runs across Highway 41 by the water tower. We topped the hill and headed down 41. We were literally about 3 minutes from work, still talking about spirits. We also talked about my friend beenunly saying Bigfoot is a spirit and not a humanoid or whatever, as part of our discussion of the house I had lived in. Bigfoot is an inhumanoid. As we went down the hill past 416, to the left of us is an open field. To the right is a house or two. There was a car headed north on 41, headed up the hill probably less than 100 feet from us, when all of a sudden something tall ran across the road from right to left in front of the oncoming car. It was right in the path of the oncoming car. He couldn't have it missed by a nanosecond. Randy's truck lights hit it at the same time, but it didn't light up whatever it was. All we both saw was a tall, thin, upright object that was like a shadow running. A complete dark shadow, despite being hit by two vehicles. Headlights, sorry. The odd thing was it didn't look human. It wasn't a deer. This thing was running on 2 legs, and unlike a human running, we saw no flinging arms. When it got to the other side of the road, it was gone. We didn't see it vanish, but we didn't see it in the field or on the other side of the road. It had simply vanished into the darkness. I've been traveling that road to work since 1996 and have seen a lot of things like deer, cows, wrecks, etc., but nothing like what we saw today. I don't care if you use my name, just don't call me Charles. Okay, Chuck. There you go, buddy. Thanks for letting me read that on my channel here. You know what I think it was that you saw, that you and Randy saw. I think it was partially cloaked Bigfoot. How 2 headlights can strike an object running across the road and neither light it up. How 2 cars' headlights can do that and not light this thing up is very bizarre, and I guarantee it was no natural animal like a deer or even a bear, whatever. Okay, what else you got here? Let's try to get in one more. Hi, Barton. I don't care if you use my name, Paul Coco. A friend of mine recently told me of a werewolf dogman encounter his dad had right in my hometown of Rochester, New York. This happened back in 1990. My friend's dad, I'll call him Rick, was living in an apartment complex which was next to a Greek Orthodox church. The only barrier between the apartment complex and the church is a fence. What kind of fence, I don't know. Anyway, Rick was outside the front lobby of the complex one night in 1990 having a smoke when he sees this creature on the church side of the fence. The creature sees him, places its clawed hands on the rim of the fence, and jumps over it onto the apartment side like an athlete would in an obstacle course. My friend said that his dad told him that this creature stood around 7 feet tall, was very muscular, more like that of a pro wrestler than a bodybuilder, and covered in gray fur. He also described the creature's face as man-like, with the muzzle of a wolf that had a mouth full of razor-sharp teeth. It also had high pointed ears with a canine leg structure and human-like hands that had black claws. He didn't get a good look at the eyes. He also didn't say if the thing had a tail or not. It's always interesting to me, you know, when I get a dogman report, one of the first things I ask is, did you see a tail? Did you notice a tail? So about 25% of the cases that I get, the witness notices a tail. The other 75% they don't. So what's the difference between a dogman and a werewolf? I don't really know if there is one, but if there is a difference, it would probably be a dogman has a tail and a werewolf has no tail. It's possible, right? Who knows? Anyway, the creature lets out an unearthly screech and starts running toward Rick on 2 legs. Luckily for Rick, he manages to get inside the complex before this thing could get to him. He then looks out the front windows, but whatever the thing was, the creature was no longer there. It had vanished into the night. My friend also told me his dad was a former military, so that adds some credibility to the story in my opinion. I've only heard of one other dogman sighting in Rochester. It was told on Dogman Encounters. A lady was driving home from the night shift at the hospital where she worked as a nurse. She was passing by a country club when a dogman appeared and crossed the road in front of her. Anyway, that's all I've got to say. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Keep up the good work and have a nice day.
Busca servicios de salud como médicos, hospitales o asilos de ancianos que acepten Medicare y ver sus calificaciones. Visite es.medicare.gov para comparar proveedores del cuidado de salud en su área y más, pagado por el Departamento de Salud y Servicios Humanos de los Estados Unidos.
Gmail is the damn worst I've ever had. Okay, so I'm gonna close off for now, guys. I want to thank you all again for your patience. Try to come out here and start doing these videos more regularly. We appreciate each and every viewer, each and every subscriber. If you're a subscriber, please make sure to check to see that you're still subscribed, because they've been unsubscribing 50% of my viewers without their knowledge. So make sure that's not happening to you, and if you like the content and you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. Hit the like button and the bell so you'll be notified when I do another video. Okay guys, hope everyone has a great day. Stay safe, be careful, and God bless all of you. Till next time.